Flathead River Plan draws fire over wildlife gaps. The U.S. Forest Service and Glacier National Park released a draft environmental assessment in February 2026 for a new comprehensive river management plan governing the three forks of Montana's Flathead, Wild, and Scenic River, 219 miles of free-flowing water spanning from the Canadian border through the heart of the Bob Marshall Wilderness. The plan is the first major update since the original 1980 management plan and is intended to establish user capacities, protect outstandingly remarkable values, and provide management direction for the river corridor. What it has generated instead is a pointed debate about what comprehensive actually means, and whether the plan's environmental monitoring framework is capable of protecting the values it is designed to preserve. The capacity math doesn't add up. The EA establishes user capacities for each river segment based on a 9-step process outlined by the Interagency Wild and Scenic Rivers Coordinating Council. For the Middle Fork Wild section, the plan sets a capacity of 150 persons per day against an estimated existing use of 55, nearly 3 times current use. But the management trigger that would prompt intervention is set at no more than 3 boats per day exiting the reach during 60% of monitored days. At an average trip length of 4 days and 2 people per boat, 3 boats per day represents roughly 24 boaters on the entire reach, a fraction of the 150-person stated capacity. American Whitewater, a founding member of the Wild and Scenic Rivers Coalition that submitted formal comments on the plan, identified this as a mathematical inconsistency the Forest Service has not yet explained. The plan also monitors only boats, despite the fact that the 150-person capacity includes all visitors, meaning the monitoring framework cannot actually detect when the stated capacity is being approached. Bull trout populations are in serious decline. The EA's fisheries section provides the environmental context that makes the monitoring gaps most consequential. Bull trout, federally listed as threatened, have declined by 66% statewide since listing in 1998. In the South Fork's Bob Marshall Wilderness tributaries, populations have declined by 63% since 2014 alone, prompting Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks to implement emergency regulation changes in 2025, including a shortened season and a 1 fish per license year harvest limit in Hungry Horse Reservoir. We need bull trout because they act as ecological engineers that protect our water infrastructure. Saving them requires keeping watersheds cold, clean, connected, and complex. Protecting their habitat ensures the overall integrity of freshwater ecosystems, securing clean water supplies, preventing catastrophic flooding, and preserving the biodiversity of the entire Pacific Northwest. Meanwhile, angling pressure on the river has risen sharply. Between 1998 and 2023, angling pressure increased by 370% on the North Fork and 300% on the Middle Fork. Research cited in the EA found that 15 to 33% of bull trout caught and released with single barbless hooks die within 24 hours, making catch and release mortality a significant and growing threat as use increases. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service issued a biological opinion in 2025, capping guided angler days on the North and Middle Forks at 4,002 annually after the Forest Service's own biological assessment concluded that guided fishing permits were likely to adversely affect bull trout. Water quality and BMP compliance. Between 2023 and 2025, best management practice, BMP inspections of 7 sites identified critical deficiencies, with Blankenship Bridge, Great Northern Flats, and the Canadian border access sites receiving a poor rating. The Blankenship Bridge inspection found extensive human waste, vehicle fluids, accelerated erosion, and illegal ATV use. The EA identifies climate change as the largest long-term threat to water quality, noting that warming air temperatures, declining snowpack, and reduced summer flows will continue to raise water temperatures and reduce dissolved oxygen during summer months, the same months when recreation use peaks. What the debate reveals about river corridor management. The Flathead CRMP drew approximately 1,165 written comments during the January 2025 scoping period and drew roughly 190 people to public meetings in Kalispell. a level of public engagement that reflects both the significance of the river system and the depth of concern about how it is being managed. The core issues the comments raise: monitoring only one user type, leaving agency activities ungoverned, and setting capacity triggers that do not align with capacity designations, are not unique to the Flathead. They are structural challenges that recur across wild and scenic river planning nationally, and the Flathead EA's detailed species and water quality data makes those challenges unusually visible here. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites by Environment and Energy Leader. For partnership opportunities, please reach out to our team.